Your reasons for listening to the show, well, those are your own. But just keep in mind that the views, information, or opinions expressed on the Tuddle Daily Podcast are solely those of the individuals involved and do not necessarily represent those of our sponsors. Yeah, it's called free speech, people. Nobody's forcing you to listen.
Get ready for your daily dose of Tuddle.
The all-time greatest intern/producer we've ever had, of course, Tuddle. Tuddle in Florida.
From the Hobo Fish Camp, it's the Tuddle Daily Podcast.
No wonder nobody likes you, Tuddle. Everything's a goddamn debate.
Greetings and welcome to another edition of the Tuddle Daily Podcast. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed your day so far. A couple of ways you can get a hold of me. You can email me, tuddle@gmail.com. That's Tuddle with two D's, Tuddle @gmail.com. Or you can leave me a voicemail, 407-270-3044. As well as leave me a voicemail, you can also leave a text message at that number, 407-270-3044. So, another day of me recording in my new studio. I was able to get some of the insulation to deaden the sound. I know it still sounds a little echoey. I never got any feedback from anybody that said that they could tell a big difference. But I want it to sound as perfect as I can. I'm actually going to get a curtain because the way that my desk is set up, I mean, the room is bigger than the area I used to sleep in at the Hobo Fish Camp. But I also don't want my bed being behind me. And I bought some curtains or curtain rods to be able to put up on the ceiling. And I'm gonna hang some curtains behind me so it kind of blocks out the background. I want this thing to sound as professional as I can. I got an interview coming up later today, and I'm interested to see how it's gonna sound since I am now using Wi-Fi. I'm gonna have the computer hooked up really, really soon, so I'm gonna be hardwired in. So I can only imagine what the quality is gonna be. One of the first stories I want to get into, I got a couple of stories. One, guy gets shot and killed because he petted somebody's dog. We're going to talk about Bob Saget. Poor dude died in Orlando on Sunday. And I've actually had a couple of opportunities to meet Bob Saget. I mean, very, very nice guy. A lot of people was always talking about, oh, he's America's dad. You know, right after Cosby, I think that Saget took over for Cosby after, you know, all that drugging thing went down. And he's walking free, so he may take the title back. But I want to get into this story of the guy that got shot and killed for petting somebody else's dog. My dad used to talk about all the time when he was growing up is the worst thing you could do is kill another man's dog, hurt another man's dog. Because these good old boys out on the farms that had these cur dogs, and everybody always asks me, what is a cur dog? A cur dog is kind of like a feral cat, but a canine. The only people that a cur dog has seen is the family. Not a lot of people show up on a farm to deliver mail because the mailbox is way down the street. Sometimes you'd even have to go to the post office. And I'm just going to be upfront with you. The cur dog only saw nothing but white people and any other color besides white. And don't even email me and say that I'm saying dogs are racist. No, dogs aren't racist. Maybe they are. I don't know. Maybe you can teach a dog to be racist. But the reason that a cur dog, a farm dog, freaks out when he sees somebody else, a human, walking up on two legs, and they're different from being white, yeah, it's going to confuse the F out of them. But my dad always told me, do not pet anybody's dog unless you ask the owner. Never pet a dog with your palm up. You always want to come at a dog with your hand down. It's less threatening because when you got your fingers, the dogs look at that as teeth. It's a sign of aggression. So that's why you always want to keep your hand down. But some people are protective over their dogs. You know, the hip-hop community, the urban community, all got into the pit bulls because of DMX. DMX made pit bulls popular, and people protect them. Some of these pit bulls can be expensive as hell, and I'm sure some of these pit bulls get jacked from somebody else. So I can understand why some of these people would be packing heat. And when I say these people, I'm talking about people, because there's white people out there that are exactly like that and crazy over their pit bulls. But you can understand why they're carrying a gun, but I don't know. This is just a really sad story.
An argument turning into a fatal shooting left 28-year-old Valentin Gonzalez dead. It all taking place at an apartment complex on Wurzbach near Babcock Road on December 30th. He leaves behind 8 kids, his wife.
All right. Holy birth control. And by the way, this got to take place in Texas, you know, the southwest area from Texas over, because this is a Spanish family. Now, they never showed the perpetrator, the guy that shot this poor Spanish guy that was just petting a dog. You know, some people just don't know any better. And some people are just crazy. I don't want anybody to think that I'm trying to give the shooter a pass. No, hell no. But who knows? Who knows? Maybe it could have been a rival type person. Maybe they had beef. I don't know. It's just hard for me to fathom that somebody would shoot another person just because they petted their dog. But then I see all the mass shootings that are going on, and it never makes sense, just like this story.
And his mother, who spoke to us through her pain.
I love you, baby. I love you, and I miss you so much. I can't see if I can go without you.
You know, I've always wanted to bring this up. I cannot put myself in a parent's shoes or a sibling, brother or sister. I mean, I'm talking about the immediate family. I don't think if one of my immediate family members died, that I would get on the news and act like that. I know that she's heartbroken, but come on. Why would you even get on the camera? I just don't understand it. And I'm not judging this mom, but what does this benefit? It may help you out in the future during a court case, and they maybe use some of this footage in the sentencing. Maybe they're going for life or death, and they want everything to hammer their point home. And it could help you in the future, but if I was this upset, why are you giving the media any time of day?
According to police, 18-year-old Jordan Eden allegedly shot Gonzalez, went on the run, and then turned himself in later that day. Police are still investigating the case, but according to Gonzalez's wife, the entire argument started because Eden's dog came towards them, and they simply pet it.
All right, I'm just being honest. I'm not going to be shocked if it comes back, and this is for real, that the only reason this 18-year-old dumbass killed this guy was because he petted the dog. There's got to be something else to the story. Am I the only one that's thinking that way? Because I just find it hard to believe that somebody would get shot and killed because you were being nice and you wanted to pet the dog. But back to what I was saying before I even started playing this story. People take their dogs seriously. A lot of people treat their dogs as children or members of the family. And I'm a pet lover. I'm a pet lover all day long. But I'm telling you this. I don't care how much I love that dog. I'm not going to put myself in a situation where I could lose my life. Like, say if the dog was somehow got off a leash or something and then ran out into traffic. No, I'm not going to go out there to get that dog. If there's a chance that I'm going to get hit by a car, it's just not happening. But some people are just built differently, and they will kill people in the name of their dogs.
It says that you can't touch my dog. I don't with you. I don't with any of you.
Brittany Gonzalez adds after going back and forth, Eden flashed his gun. They tried to ignore him, but the dog came back.
Once again, I am not blaming this on the victims. I'm not trying to make the victim look even worse. I'm not saying it's his fault, but I'm telling you right now, as soon as somebody flashes a gun, I mean, you got a couple of choices. Freeze and do not move. Do not even breathe. Or run. Run as fast as you can away from them. As far away from them as you can imagine. Because if you're doing that, you're not being threatening. But this is just a crazy story, and I really do think we're going to find out more and more about this as it unfolds.
And that's when he allegedly started shooting.
He shoots at me 2 inches from my face, and he goes and tuggles him to the ground.
I mean, this is all conjecture. Because, I mean, we don't have a lot of the facts. Because I've played many, many stories where the local news media does not even come close to getting it right. And maybe they're not reporting all the details. Like I said, what if these two had beef? What if, the guy shot at the woman. What if the shooter and the woman had an affair, or they were, like, having something on the side, whatever it may be, and the guy was jealous because, hey, I thought you were leaving your man. Now I see you out there walking around with him, and now you're trying to pet my dog? Hell yeah. This is all speculation, by the way. But, I mean, we've all been proven wrong, or we've all seen that the media has been proven wrong when they're first reporting a story.
He cocks the gun and shoots. He falls to the ground, and he looks at me and says, I love you, Mama.
All right. I know this is going to make me sound like a complete dick, but I hate it when guys call their girlfriends, fiancés, or wives Mama. Do not. It makes you look like a sick weirdo when you call the woman that you're having sex with Mama. And look, for the most part, this is a white thing. Calling your chick, the one that you're penetrating, Mama, yeah, that's definitely a white thing. She's not your mama. Guess who she's the mama to? Her kids, son, daughter, etc., maybe an adopted kid. Yeah, they call the woman you're having sex with Mama. But for you to call the woman you're having sex with Mama, it makes it look like you have a thing for your mama. Yeah, I'm just throwing it out there. I know that I'm getting off on a tangent. I know that a lot of people are going to think that I'm being insensitive. No, I had to jump in there. And do I believe that this guy, after being shot, he said something about, I love you, Mama? No. When you get shot like that, you the last thing you're even thinking of, sorry, COVID's getting me. The last thing you're thinking of is telling your old lady, I love you, Mama, just to hammer home how much of a sicko you are before you go to heaven or hell. Don't believe in any of them. I'm just trying to relate to you guys.
Gonzalez was rushed to the hospital, later dying from his injuries. His brother Timothy got the news, but wasn't able to make it to say goodbye.
I rushed over here, man. I don't even live in town. I live out of town, man. I drove as fast as I could. The traffic was hell. I couldn't get here in time.
I bet all those politicians, bet you're feeling bad now. Because if you guys built better roads, this dude was going to be able to see his brother before he passed away. Maybe, I don't know, maybe he was going to say, I love you, Bubba. I love you, Bubby. Or maybe I love you, Mama. Maybe that was just this guy's thing.
I'm sorry, brother.
The entire Gonzalez family in tears. One of Valentine's young stepdaughters also asking if she could speak with us.
It's really hard for me to sleep because I miss him.
Yeah, this family is kind of posturing to set it up to be able to, like, nail this dude's balls to a piece of wood that killed their family member. Because I think it's irresponsible as a parent that you would let your, like, not even teenage daughter get on the camera and talk about this. I mean, parents are sometimes so dumb. No way in a million years if I ever had a kid would I would let them talk to a local news media reporter about that. No, it's gonna be a little scarring. And that's why I was saying, I think they're kind of preparing it when they get to sentencing. And they're going to be able to play this little 12-year-old kid, 11-year-old kid, and be like, look, Your Honor, look what it did to this kid. Tell me right now, if I had any siblings and they put a microphone back in the day in my face, oh yeah, I would freeze up. I'd be pissing my pants.
And I want to tell you, Daddy, I really love you, and I miss you.
And although Eden is behind bars, Gonzalez's family is upset that he was given bond. Now, his bond is a total of $280,000.
Isn't that what you want? If you're a family member of this guy that got killed because he petted somebody's dog, wouldn't you want the guy, the shooter, to be able to get bonded out? Look, I'm an only child. I don't have any brothers or sisters. But I'm telling you right now, if like somebody killed my mom or dad, I definitely would. I would pray for them to be able to bond out. Because I would make sure I knew exactly where he was going to be. And I would just handle it. I would handle it on my own all day long.
And at last check, he has not posted bond, but the Gonzalez family says he should stay behind bars so something like this doesn't happen again. At Public Safety Headquarters, John Paul Barajas, KSAT 12 News.
All right, guys, not going to be able to get into the Bob Saget story. I really do think everybody's, like, talked about it already. I mean, what else can I say? I mean, there's no angle to be able to take. I mean, the law enforcement is saying not suicide, not drugs. And even if it was drugs, I mean, what can you say bad about it? Hey, he liked drugs. He wasn't hurting anybody else besides himself. So, I mean, what am I going to say that not all the other podcasts, all the content creators have already said? Oh, yeah, he's America's dad. Oh, yeah, he was Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen's acting dad. My voice is going. Anyways, I want to get into this. I want your feedback. I want your feedback on how this interview sounds. It's Dean Simone. God, this is so unprofessional. By the way, only 14 days away from having COVID. But Dean Simone, I'm going to be interviewing him about his movie Game Day. And he is from Philadelphia. And it's just an interesting twist, plot. And I just wanted to be able to have this interview so I can hear how it sounds over Zoom to see what the quality sounds like. So I would love your feedback. Tuddle@gmail.com. Or you can leave me a voicemail, 407-270-3044. And before I get to Dean Simone, make sure if you're in the market to buy or sell a home in the Brevard, Volusia, or Flagler areas, this man really helped my mom out. Mom had never bought a house on her own. Ian Hanna, I talk about him a lot. And a lot of you guys are probably like, oh, you're just blowing him up because he pays you. Yeah, well, I mean, that does help. But the guy helped my mom out. Saved my mom probably like $1,000, maybe $1,500 when it came to the negotiation. So like I said, if you're in the market to buy or sell a home, or maybe you know somebody that is in the market to buy or sell a home, check out my good friend Ian Hanna. Go to his website, ianhannahomes.com. If you go there and you buy one, tell him you heard it on the Tuddle Daily Podcast. Welcome back to the Tuddle Daily Podcast. I'm really looking forward to this interview, and I got to tell you, this guest got a hell of a picture for his profile picture on Zoom. Dean Simone is on for me. Dean, now, is that a headshot? Like, did your agent tell you to go get that headshot? Because I got to tell you, it looks pretty good, man.
Thanks. Thanks, Tuddle. Yeah, no, that's just part of the game out here. You have to have your pictures, and as you get more established, you can take more just kind of candid shots like that. When you're a younger actor, you got to have like a shot of you
working out, driving a hot rod car.
Right. At a gas station.
Shirt off.
Yeah, exactly. Shirt off. God forbid.
Now, Dean, how old of a guy are you, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm 58.
Man, so like I'm looking at the picture. So a lot of the women must think you're like a silver fox, right? I mean, come on. You're rocking the hair. Like, has any of your agents or publicity people been like, come on, Dean, you got to dye the hair? But I think it worked for you, my friend.
No, actually, they really they want the hair to stay gray. In fact, for game day, we darkened my hair. My agents, in fact, I had just booked something, and the client, it was a commercial. The client was like, "Oh, please, he's going to go back to his normal hair color." So no, actually, the gray helps. Lots of boomers out there, Tuddle.
Now, Dean, before we get into the interview, tell my audience a little bit about yourself, your background, where you're from, a little bit about being out in LA and stuff, and your new project, Game Day.
Okay, well, I am originally from Philadelphia. I came out here many years ago. I've been out here since I was 18. I've worked in acting, made a living at it on and off throughout the years. Done like what most actors out here have done. I've literally done everything from wait tables to coach high school football. I'm also a musician, so I've always played in bands. I still have a band called the Smoking Cobras. We play all over. We've been Tokyo, Dodger Stadium, you name it. So I do that, but acting has always been my main thing. And I started making a living at it permanently when I turned 50. To the gray hair.
Hey, I gotta ask though. So, like, was there ever a point where you're like, man, I'm 50. I'm really not, like, I haven't gotten that big break. But a lot of people don't realize this. You can make a living off of getting those secondary characters or commercials and stuff like that, and live pretty comfortably, right?
Oh, absolutely. Tyler, you can especially over 50. It's a whole new world of parts that are available. And, it's the aspirational silver fox. I get a lot of that. I get a lot of the CEO. You get a lot of those. They're out there because there's a vast amount of boomers that are out there. In fact, my next film is actually it's going to be centered around a boomer love affair and dealing with a lot of things that boomers deal with parents that, have illnesses and things that go on. And there's a huge world for it. I mean, it's just it's a gigantic niche that's there. So I turned 50, and my wife, who is a school teacher and one of the nicest
teacher, like, dude, I mean, I'm not trying to offend you, but like, does she wear the teacher outfit and everything for you every once in a while, or maybe?
Absolutely. No? Of course, man. They and I'm the naughty schoolboy who needs to be corrected. Yeah.
Now, Dean,
especially my math, Tuddle. My math is wanting.
And smack you with the ruler and stuff, like she was a Catholic nun or something, maybe.
You know it, baby.
Now, Dean, I want to get into Game Day, your new project. Tell my audience before we get into it a little bit about it. What was your inspiration? You wrote this, correct?
I did. This is a weird story. Now, you're talking about like survival in Hollywood and making a living and going through the different stages. I ran into a director who actually way back when gave me my SAG card. I was in one of his first films. We got to talking. he said we should do something together. He pitched an idea about me doing something about my family, and of course, it morphed greatly from actually being about my family. Because if this was really my family, I would hang myself a piano wire. I mean, it would be a bad way to live. But we wrote this story based on one Sunday, Eagles playing the Cowboys, and just everything that could occur for that family came to a head on that weekend, on that Sunday. Which
one of the biggest rivalries, a lot of people don't know this, but I mean, the Cowboys and Eagles is a huge rivalry.
Yeah, Tuddle, the funny thing about it is it's actually a bigger rivalry for us as Philly fans.
And Redskins?
Yeah, Redskins are more the Cowboys rivals. That's how bad it is for us. The Cowboys don't even view us as their main rival. So, it's kind of a strange spot to be in. But for us, for Eagle fans, man, we are we hate the Cowboys. We are definitely Cowboy oriented every year, looking at that calendar, circling it twice when we get to play them. So it's a big deal. There's a lot of emotion that flies usually at any Eagle game when you're watching it with your family, but especially that game, there's just a lot of emotion and rancor.
Now, so this movie revolves around your family. So a lot of people, think of stereotypes when it comes to families and different regions. Okay, you got the families in the South, a little bit white trash, Florida cracker down here in Florida where I'm at. And then you got the New Jersey, New York Italian. Well, what is the stereotypical family in Philadelphia like?
Well, where I'm from in Philadelphia, I was born in South Jersey in Camden. And for people that are
tri-state area.
Yeah, but I mean, like literally Camden to Philadelphia is like right across the river. It's just right over the bridge there. So the stereotype, that's one thing that we wanted to play against in the movie, because obviously there is a certain stereotype that's seen that way. I was fortunate enough in growing up, my father was a corporate executive. We moved a lot. So even though Philly was always home and we moved back to Philly, I lived everywhere, including the South. I lived in Atlanta for a long time.
Great city, by the way. Hollywood is the East now. I
Yeah.
mean, isn't it great what Atlanta has been able to do with the filming?
It absolutely is. And I think that, again, to what you were talking about in terms of stereotypes, I think there's the country has become so much more homogenous now. I mean, just because of, communication being what it is and the internet, I think a lot of those stereotypes they're fading. And I think that that's one thing about game day is when it's all said and done, it's really not about that stereotypical thing, that Italian family that gets together and has that blow up, even though that's a big part of the movie. But it's really about the underlying tensions that exist in families. And sometimes it takes a game or a family dinner or
just something small. I mean, look, I'll give you an example. Okay. My dad just recently passed away about 7-8 months ago. And
Sorry to hear that.
yeah. But the thing is that a lot of people don't realize, a lot of people are like, oh, why are you so into sports? Why are you into this? Why, like you never played for them, or like if you root for a college team, oh, you never went there. Why are you so into it? And I explain to people, well, I root for the University of Florida Gators here in the Gainesville area. I don't live in Gainesville, but my dad was from Gainesville. And I just have so many memories of watching the games with my dad, the national championships that they've won, and watching baseball games. And sports is one of those things that bring families together, in my opinion.
There's no doubt about it. And it has a lot to do with the common memory of the game and what happened and where we were and what was going on during that time. I mean, you must be a Tebow guy then, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Love Tebow. I mean, I just like it because of the memories that I had. Like, right. Because my dad was a very man's man, iron worker, did steel erection, stuff like that. And, I was an only child, stayed home with my mom a lot. So I didn't grow up in a tougher era, toughest area as he did. But that was that one connection. In playing baseball, high school ball, he coached little league teams. I played college ball. It was that one thing that connected us.
Wow. So question. So you played college baseball?
Yes. Well, for a community college team.
College baseball in Florida is a big deal. There's some great baseball down there. What position did you play?
I was a pitcher. And Chipper Jones's dad was my math teacher and coach for a couple of years as well too.
Chipper Jones, folks, is for you non-sports people out there, is one of the greatest Braves of all time. So,
hey, yeah. Now, I back to game day. Okay. So like, how much of it did you pick from your real life experiences with your family?
Okay, well, it is set up in terms of the setup of my family. I have a younger son, I have a middle son, an older son, remarried, multi-generational. So many of those things are like my family. But, and I say this a lot on a lot of our podcasts that we've been doing, and a lot of the people that we've talked to, is this is a drama. It's not a documentary. Obviously, I pulled from...
You use experiences, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Like seeing friends whose kids had drug issues, or issues that I've seen, in my own family, not per se in my nuclear family. But, one of the main things, Tuddle, is something, we're talking about the boomers and a lot of what the generations... You sound like you're a younger guy than I am.
I'm a Gen Xer. I'm a Gen Xer.
Okay. But as you, I'm sure, seeing and experiencing, many people are experiencing this multi-generational thing where generations are living at home now. I have like, in our situation here, my wife and I, my parents are in their 80s. They do live with us, as is the case in game day.
I'm taking care of my mom right now since my dad passed away. Like, I've been there helping her out. And it is a little bit of a weird situation. A lot of people look down, oh man, you live with your mom right now. And the thing is that it's like, you know what? They did a lot for me.
Right.
And it's time for me to repay it. And that's the way that I've always felt.
Well, that's not a weird situation. That's an admirable situation. I think that, not to get on the soapbox about it, but this was a situation way back in the 40s and the 30s. This was a more common thing. Then things started getting to a point where we all, had to live separate from each other, but multi-generations living at home, that was something that used to happen. I mean, that's what family is about.
Great Depression, all that stuff.
Completely. And I think the thing that's very difficult, especially in families, when you're getting like parents in their 80s, kids in their 50s, then kids in their 20s and teens, obviously a different lexicon. Everyone's looking through it in a different way and seeing things in a different way. So it's very difficult sometimes to bring all that together and live under that roof and coexist. One thing we talk about in the movie that Edgar Bravo is the director, and he's the co-writer as well, terrific writer and director. And, we talk about this. The executive producer, John Paul, had a comment. I don't know where he got it. I'm going to quote him on this, but it's basically like, it's better that we are divided than we stand together for the wrong cause. And I think there's a lot of that in game day, where sometimes it's not right to stay with a person. It's not right to be in a situation where you're thrust in with another person. Like, for instance, I have a difficult relationship with my middle son in the movie. In real life, I don't have a difficult relationship with my middle son. We've had our periods, but we're good. But in a situation like that, for example, maybe it is the best thing that the son moves out. Maybe it is best that he struggles and finds his own way. And let's face it, you got to learn. And in this day and age right now, especially with all this other stuff that's going on, it's a very difficult time to navigate. It's hard. It's hard for younger people to get out and get houses and be in that spot. It's rough.
Dean, we all have those like little things that, that happen in a family, growing up in the South. My dad got better as he got older, but it's like, I talk about this a lot, is that, people are not born judgmental, or they're not born racist and stuff. It gets better over the generations. And luckily, I was never influenced to that. And I think that's all part of my dad changed a lot when I was born. But, in my family, on my mom's side, growing up in the South and everything, my mom's brother, my cousin, ended up having an interracial kid out of wedlock, and that was a big thing. And every time she'd show up, and I just didn't understand it at that time when I was younger.
How old are your parents? How old's your mom?
My mom's 73. My dad was 75 when he passed away. So, he got better through the years. You see what I'm saying? And I don't think my dad always judged people on their merit, no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
And that was one of those sore subjects at the family gatherings and stuff,
Yeah, I mean, that point of judging people on their merit, that's the whole thing, isn't it? Really, I talk to my kids about this all the time as well. We're in a tough time right now in the country. Not to make this a political thing, it's not. I'm not taking any side.
I don't support either side. We're just as divided. We're as divided. We're as divided as we've ever been in this country right now, and it sucks.
It does, because to me, it's all about the person, who they are, what they're about, not necessarily what side of the political party they're on. I could care less. I look at it this way. I will always vote for the person who I think is someone I can trust, somebody that I care about. And I think there's so much right now going on. And again, Game Day talks to this as well, where
what's the website real quick if people want to check out the trailer for YouTube? I want to get that out there.
Sure. It's www.gamedaythemovie.com. Again, that's www.gamedaythemovie.com. And there's also a link to Amazon and to Vimeo on there as well as the trailer being there. And I think, so far we've gotten great response and we're really thrilled about it. And I do believe it's an honest comment on family and what family is about, the good and the bad in the situation. I really feel like we tried to pull no punches and we told.
I saw a punch in the trailer. Somebody got, I think, was that you that got smacked in the head or I forget. Me
and my middle son went at it in the trailer there. And believe me, if me and Nick McCormick, the actor who played my middle son in there, got into it, that would have been a quick fight because Nick is a muscular 6'2" ex-college baseball player. So that would have been a quick fight.
Hey, we got for some reason, because I worked in radio in Tampa for quite a while, and for some reason in Tampa, we got a lot of wrestlers that retire. Hogan, Hulk Hogan lives in Tampa. Randy Savage, before he died and had a heart attack on that bridge, he lived there. A lot of the wrestlers. And now, did the guy that hit you, did he work stiff? And by stiff, the wrestling lingo, I learned a lot of this, but did he work stiff? Did he throw a spud at you? Did he pull the punch is what I'm saying.
Yeah, he was really good. He was a very athletic dude, and he was able to make it look real. But you
should have took it.
It was the magic of Hollywood. I should have.
No. I look, man. If it was my baby, and I'm not calling you out, but I'd been like, man, I want this to look good. Just clock me. And you could have, shoot that at the end of the movie, so you didn't have to put makeup on every single day to cover up the bruise and stuff. You see what I'm saying? Or hey, the bruise would have added to the realness.
That's what I'm thinking, man. I mean, if we're talking about the fact that my claim to fame here as an actor is the wrinkles and the gray, why not a few bruises too? An abrasion here or there can do nothing but increase my marketability, I would think.
Right now on the line with me is Dean Simone. He wrote and is starring in the movie Game Day. Now, Dean, I want to talk about this, okay? Philadelphia. We're getting back to the Eagles here.
Mm-hmm.
Why is we talk about stereotypes? Why is Philly fan tagged with the worst sport fans? I'm not talking about being supportive. I'm talking about you guys having a jail. Do you guys really have a jail in your stadium? Because we always talked about this on the radio. I don't know if it's an urban legend, but you guys get in so many fights at Philadelphia games that they got a jail and a judge on a Sunday just like book these people that get into fights at Philadelphia game.
Well, Veterans Stadium, which was truly the pit of despair, but was the stadium of my childhood, did have that, in fact.
So it is real. Oh man,
but not the link. The link isn't that way. It's different. And let me say something about the Philadelphia fan and the perception of that. I'm living in Los Angeles now, so I see there's a perception of Los Angeles fans like they don't care and they're not passionate. Look, LA fans are very passionate. You go to a
Dodgers, hell yeah.
Lakers too, but Dodgers especially. If you don't think those fans are passionate, you are high. They are passionate as hell. They definitely care about their team. As far as Philadelphia fans,
they threw D-cell batteries at Santa Claus during Christmas.
Right.
I think that's kind of what gave. But you know what, though? I like it. I like the swagger.
But you know what? If you go to games in New England, if you go to games in New York, most East Coast, Northeast Coast cities, they are passionate that way about their teams. Now, the one thing about Philly is, the big thing about Philly is, it is a city of underdogs. It views itself as an underdog. We always viewed ourselves as the, redheaded stepchild to New York. We always felt like, we didn't get our dues, and New York got all the acclaim, and we were just looked at as like, Philadelphia. So I think there's always a funny dynamic in Philly.
What's the craziest thing you've seen at a Phillies game?
The craziest thing I saw at a Phillies game?
Or not, or any Philadelphia sporting event. Sorry.
I'll tell you one I remember vividly. When I was a little kid, it doesn't happen anymore, but they used to have the last exhibition game of the football season was played in Princeton, and it was the Giants against the Eagles.
Ooh.
And literally, it's an equal distance from both cities. So I am talking about bloodbaths in the stands. Okay, I'm not talking about this is like the early 70s. So I mean, it was like literally way more violent in the stands than it would ever be on the field. I saw my uncles get in fights with each other at the Eagle games, in that particular game. So I think that had to be probably the most intense thing I'd ever seen. They stopped doing that for obvious reasons, because it was, literally, you talk about people being thrown in jail. It was just fighting from the minute you got there to the minute you left. So that was definitely the craziest by far.
So you being an actor and a writer and coming up with the concept of this movie, give me your top 3 Philadelphia related movies. I mean, everybody's going to say Rocky, maybe any of the M. Night Shyamalan movies, Philadelphia with Tom Hanks, Silver Linings Playbook. I mean, they were big Eagles fans in that one as well, too. What would be your top 3 Philadelphia related movies?
You just picked them, Tuddle. I guess Rocky would have to be it, because I so much identify and appreciate that underdog story, that story about self-worth, which I'd like to come back to and talk about a little bit, because there's something touched on that is in our film as well. I definitely thought Philadelphia was brilliant for so many reasons. The acting performances were great. It was a groundbreaking movie. The Sixth Sense, probably. Good one for me too. Really,
was he a Philadelphia guy? Like, a lot of his movies were based in Philadelphia, though.
Bruce Willis is a South Jersey guy, and
so it's close.
So I don't. But if people don't realize this a lot of times, but South Jersey, Philly is our city. So when you're from that area, Philly is 20 minutes, 15 minutes. From some places, it's 5 minutes. It's right over the bridge. So he's a South Jersey guy. He's from out towards the shore, but he's a Philadelphia guy, and he has the accent. And one thing too, by the way, Tuddle, is most Philly movies do not get the Philly accent.
They don't.
Including Rocky, which I love, but Rocky doesn't really have a Philly accent. Because I will say this, because if I let myself go or had a few drinks, or I doing a role like I did in Game Day where I can actually do my accent that I really have, it can come out easily.
I love accents, though. I that's what I love about the country is that there's so many different accents, and you can almost tell it's kind of like a marker of where you're from.
Absolutely. And you just said a giveaway word right there. You said almost. And like in Florida, your O's, you guys have those O's like we have in Philly too, almost. Philly's accent is so weird and people don't get it. Like Silver Linings Playbook.
Did you see SNL? Wait, I'm sorry. Because I'll forget it. Did you ever see that bit that Saturday Night Live did? Where with the Philadelphia or the Pennsylvania accent? I know it's not Philadelphia. It was like from some other place, right?
It was from Mayor of, you talking about the one that they did the takeoff on Mayor of, I can't remember the name of this.
Yeah,
series.
It was like we are. It was just like
okay.
Murder. Yeah.
They went to the far extreme with it. I'll tell you who does it. Tina Fey is from Philadelphia, and she does obviously knows the accent, like knows it great and does it great. They got it in a very satirical, over the top way.
Yeah,
but it is a very strange accent. There's no other accent like it. And actually, Baltimore, as we like to say, in Washington D.C., very similar accents, right, to Philly. Then you travel all the way up to Princeton, middle part of the Freehold, where Bruce Springsteen is from. Once you get in North Jersey, it's a New York accent. Totally accent. So when you're watching something like Silver Linings Playbook, which I loved, Bradley Cooper is the only Philadelphian in that movie. And
I didn't even know he was Philadelphian. I didn't know that.
He's from exactly the same area where we filmed Game Day, like right next to Game Day. And he's he's got a Philadelphia accent if he lets it go. But in that movie, he still didn't let it go that strong. Everyone else in it was New York.
And De Niro just does De Niro.
Yeah, but hey, who cares? He's De Niro, right? So he can whatever he wants, and it's great.
All right. Well, before I let you go, Dean, once again, tell people how they could check out the movie and where are people going to be able to check it out? Like, where can they download it or go see it? Like, where are they going to be able to check it out?
Okay, Amazon. It's on Amazon USA. You can go to our website and Vimeo as well, but you can go to our website, www.gamedaythemovie.com, and that will give you a link to the Amazon or to the Vimeo page. They can see it there, and that's where we're starting. But I think there's some things in the works, and we may end up also having.
You thought about entering it in any film festivals and stuff? I mean, that's a great way.
It's released now, so you can't do it once the movie is out.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Consumption, you can't do it. And we wanted to do it. We got it out. It was such a labor of love. I can't begin to tell you how much we poured into this, and we just wanted to get it out there and get people to see it. So please check it out. I think you'll love it, folks. If it's not for the faint of heart when it comes to family stuff. We are not trying to portray the family as a perfect thing. We understand the dynamics of it. We've all been through it, and the movie tries to be very unflinching and tell the truth.
I like that. I like realness.
I'm an only child like you are, pal. So you do.
It's a little weird, isn't it? I don't think a lot of people think it's a great thing, but it's not all that it is cracked up to be.
But look, you turned out to be awesome. And I think it does give us a certain amount of drive and a certain amount of confidence, because you have to be that way,
Yeah, I completely agree with you, my friend. And I would love to have you on again, man. Hopefully you enjoyed this interview.
I had a great time. You're a terrific guy, and I really had a blast talking about it. Folks, it's Game Day, www.gamedaythemovie.com, and feel free to drop us a line. You can email us at the website as well. We try to answer any of the emails that we get when we can. It takes us a little bit of time sometimes, but we'd love to hear from you and hear what you think about it. And we're looking forward to you seeing it.
All right, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Tuddle. God bless, pal. Take care.
And that's the show for today. Thanks for listening to the Tuddle Daily Podcast. Hey, don't be a dickhead. Do us a favor. Like, share, and subscribe to the show. Also, check out the Tuddle category at 315live.com. The Tuddle Daily Podcast is brought to you by Starfire Transport, StitchYouUp.com, and PocketPairClub.com. Special thanks to show producer Vulture and co-host Sirach. Show voiceover service is brought to you by jcvoiceover.com and The Little Cheese Show. Download and subscribe to The Little Cheese Show everywhere podcasts are found. If you want to help support the show, go to paypal.me/TuddleOnTheRadio. You have something you want to say? Tuddle@gmail.com or leave a voicemail at 407-270-3044. To follow all Tuddle social media, go to Tuddle.net. That's Tuddle with 2Ds.net. Thanks again for all your support, and we'll see you tomorrow on the Tuddle Daily Podcast.
I get ignorant in normal situations.
What you mean?
What the fuck you mean?
What are you talking about?
Nigga, what the fuck is you talking about?
Oh, shit!